What's up, y'all? Me, Big Dip here, and back with new video. Back with reading Saw Friends. So we on chapter 2. The last chapter I read was about how the Saw Friends came to the human world to how the Saw animals came to the human world to try to meet their Saw friends. The The main cast in this book is Mia, Lexi, Violet, and Sita. Hope y'all enjoy. Chapter 2. The Trouble with Violet. Mountain Gorilla Orangutan, Gabaco Penguin, Maya Green blew her dark blonde bangs out of her eyes and turned the pages of the book on endangered animals. It was so hard to choose just one. Hurry up now, everyone called Miss Harris. There's just 5 minutes until recess. I want you to have decided on your projects by then. Mia turned the pages more quickly. Maybe a penguin. They always made her giggle with their funny rattling walk or Africa wild dog. She loved dogs or a wolf. She paused at a photograph of a gray wolf. Her grandma Annie had loved wolves and had kept lots of wolf ornaments and painting in her house. Maria's heart twisted in her chest. Grandma Annie had died last month, and Mia still missed her a lot. No wolf will make her feel so sad. I can't believe you still hadn't decided, said Violet, who sat next to her. I always done a whole page of notes on my animal. She flicked her strawberry blonde ponytail over her shoulder and showed me a page of neat writing with heading underlined with a ruler. So this right here is Mila. Mila. I had decided, said Mila definitely. I'm going to do my projects on orangutans. She picked an animal at random just to get Violet to stop talking about it. Ever since they had been put at the same table at the start of the semester, Violet had been driving her crazy. It was bad enough that Sia and Lexi, her best friends, were in the other fifth grade class, but having to sit next to Violet seemed very unfair. Violet was clever and she loved pointing out any mistakes Mia made. Orientans really, right side, can't you be more imagination than that? There are at least 4 other people doing Orientans. So what's amazing, unusually animal have you decided to do your projects on me as? A pogon horn, Violet answered. Do you even know what a pogon horn is? Me hadn't even me hadn't ever heard of a pogon horn. Still, she didn't want to admit that to Violet, so she guessed, is it some kind of deal? She saw Violet's face cycling and knew she must have got it right. Kind of, Violet admitted. It's a little like a deer and a little like a goat, and a little like an antelope. Although actually it's totally unique animal. Anyway, why don't I find you something that more interesting than orangutan? She opened the book on her section of the decks. Maybe you could do your projects on a sailor or a penguin. They were my reserved choices. Okay, everyone, time for recess, Miss Harris called. Mia jumped up before she had to admit to Violet that she didn't know what either of those animals was. She put her book away and headed out of the classroom. Lexi and Sid were waiting for her. Lexi, small and skinny, her curly black hair clipped back with pink butterfly hair clip, and Sid, tall and graceful, with skinny dark brown hair in a thick braid. A shape at last, Mia said mentally, feeling better at the sight of them. Your crash was that bad? Asked Sid sympathetically. Any crash said in net to Violet bad, said Mia. Seeing eyes wider in warning, glancing back, Mia saw that Violet had followed her to the classroom doorway with an open book about endangered animals in her hands. So this is me and her friends, and this is Violet standing in front of the door. Well, that's the last time I bothered trying to help you with apologies, my green. She snapped and she marched back inside. Mia felt a rush of guilty. She didn't like upsetting people, even people as irritated as Violet. Whoops, Lexi moaned. Wait here, Mia hurried back in the classroom. Violet was standing by the table. Violet, I'm sorry. Forget it, Violet said, abruptly picking up a book. It's not as if I care what you and your silly friends think. Mia bit her lip, not knowing what to say. Violet turned her back. I'm going to read, she said. Go away. Mia sighed and went back to her friends. Well, that was awkward, she told them. It's her own fault, said Lexi loyally. She shouldn't be so ignorant. It must be horrible having to sit with her. She linked on with Mia. Come on, let's go. So, what have you been doing this morning? She asked Mia as they went toward the playground. The November sun was shining, but a cold breeze was making falling leaves shiver across the ground. Miss Harris was telling us all about endangered animals, said Mia, zipping up her coat and burying her hands in her pocket. She told us how many species are dying out and about how many people need to do more to help. An idea suddenly popped into her head. You know it's the Harvard show in the village hall next weekend. Well, why don't we ask if we can have a bake sale to raise money for endangered animals? We'll have all of vacation to prepare for it and do some baking. Let's do it, said Celia. Great idea. We could bake a bunch of different cupcakes, said Lexi. My dad is helping to organize the show. I asked him if he can reserve a table for us. May it be perfect if you come over tomorrow morning. We can choose which cupcakes we're going to bake and pass the baking them. Okay, but it has to be before my gymnastics class at 11:30, said Lexi. It's a cool idea, Mia. Mia grinned. It really was. Mia's mom was waiting for her in the car. After two, she could see her 18-month-old brother, Alex, tap into his car seat. He gave Mia a tour card as he opened the back door. Oot cars, he said proudly. Mia grinned. Yes, cars, she said. She was glad to get out of the cold and into the warm car. Vacation starts now, her mom said, smiling at her and starting to England. A whole week off, I bet that feels good. It does, Mia said. No more Violet. Violet had spent half the afternoon ignoring Mia and the other half, pointing out failing mistakes in her write-up of a science experiment on youngest that they had been doing. Mia, guilty of upsetting her that morning, had soon faded. Her mom found. Oh, Mia, that not very nice. You used to be good friends in kindergarten and third grade before she started being so annoyed. Mia said it was true that she and Violet had gotten along when they started school. Violet was 6 months older than Mia and still always had really good ideas for games. Fun things, not just playing tag or hide and seek like everyone else, but pretending to be dolphins or imagining they had unicorn of their own. But then Violet had started to get really bossy, so May had made friends with Lexi and Sita and said, "Can't you be friends again?" said her mom. I was talking to Violet's mom, and she says, "Violet is lonely." Maya didn't believe it. She doesn't act like she's lonely and wants to be friends with people. We're all talking together. She just got off and reads a book. And if she has to join in, she tells everyone their ideas are awful and hers are the best. It might be because she's an only child, Mom said. I was one, so I know what it's like. It's sometimes difficult to know how to fit in. She might secretly want to make friends with all you. Said Mia disbelievable. She changed the subject. Are we going right home? No, we're going to Grandma Annie's house to collect some stuff for the sheep show. Dad's meet us there, and then he'll go and pick up Cody after baseball practice. Dax the child asked, pointing at a tractor out the window. Yeah, tractor. Looks the digger too, said Mayor, pointing Sing out as her mom drove on to the twisty streets of Westport. Mayor had lived in Westport all her life. It was a large city on the Pacific coast, and Mayor loved it on a sunny day. She and her mom, dad, Alex, and older sister Chloe would go to the beach and have picnics on stormy days. They would wrap up in raincoats and go for boosty walks, stopping for a hot chocolate at the Couple Kettle restaurant afterwards. Her mom drove across the main street onto a small bumpy road that led to the beach. There were a few houses at the top of the road, and halfway down was Grandma Annie's white stone house with a pointed roof and small windows. The car pulled up outside Millia's shrivel. The curtains had been pulled across the window. Ever since Grandma Annie had died, it made her feel as if the house had shut its eyes. Her mom got Alex out of his car seat and carried him to the front door, turning the key. She pushed the door open. Millie followed her inside. The house was dark and cold, and there were moving boxes in the hallway. For a moment, Millie pictured the house as it used to be. Lights on, the smell of cookies, baking Grandma Annie, sitting in the kitchen, making tea with her fresh red kettle that whistled when it boiled, the smile on her face when she saw Millie. Millie backed out of the house. Being there made her feel too sad. Her mom saw her face. Are you okay? Can I go for a walk? Asked Millie. I'll just go to the waterfall. That's fine, her mom said. But don't go any farther than that. Do you have your phone with you? Millie nodded and said, This is Millie. This is Millie and her mom. That is end of chapter 2. So stay tuned for chapter 3 to see what happened next. So anyway, hope everybody had a great day. Bye y'all.